I accidentally fell into a family with my best friend, and it's the best thing to ever happen to me. We met when we were 11. Both of us had moms who were more absent than present, and dads who were just gone. So we kind of became each other's people. Not romantic, just necessary. The kind of friendship where you don't have to explain yourself because they already know. She knew what my house felt like on a bad night. I knew what hers felt like too. Growing up like that either breaks you or makes you really good at reading a room. We both got pretty good at reading rooms. We also got really good at taking care of ourselves and each other. She'd call me when things went sideways. I'd show up. I'd call her when I was in my head too deep. She'd talk me down. That's just how it was. There were moments where it felt like something more. We talked about it once when we were 17. Stayed up till almost 4 in the morning going back and forth. The conclusion we landed on was that we were too scared. Not of each other. Scared of what it would cost us if it didn't work. Losing her wasn't something I was willing to risk. So we left it alone. By 20, she was pregnant. The guy was nobody. He showed up for the easy parts and vanished when anything got real. The test came back positive and he was gone within 2 weeks. No calls, no support, nothing. She had nobody in her corner. Her mom wasn't in the picture. She had friends, but nobody who was actually going to be there at 2 in the morning when things got hard. Except me. I wasn't trying to step into any kind of role. I just couldn't leave. That wasn't something I was capable of doing to her. So I stayed. I drove her to appointments. I sat in waiting rooms. I helped her put together the crib, even though we had to watch 3 different videos to figure out one piece. I was just there. That was all I knew how to do. She went into labor on a Tuesday night, and I was the only one in that waiting room. I sat under those fluorescent lights, pacing back and forth with a bad cup of vending machine coffee going cold in my hand. Nervous doesn't cover what I was feeling. Something bigger than that. When they let me in and I saw her daughter for the first time, I just stopped. This tiny, brand new person, completely unaware of everything. And something in me locked in. Something that hadn't been there before was there now, and I knew it wasn't going anywhere. The first few months were brutal. She was exhausted in a way I'd never seen a person be exhausted. I'd come over after work and take the baby so she could sleep for a few hours. Learned bottles, diapers, all of it. Middle of the night, screaming, you just have to ride out. I didn't mind. I'd sit at 2 in the morning with this tiny kid on my chest and feel weirdly at peace. By the time she was 1, I was over there more than my own place. She figured out how to climb onto the couch and look back at me for a reaction every time like she'd done something incredible. I always gave her the reaction. When she started really talking, she started calling me daddy. The first time she said it clearly, I went completely still. I looked at her mom, and her mom just looked back at me, and neither of us said anything. I went home that night and sat with it for a long time. Part of me felt like I was taking something that wasn't mine. Like someday this kid was going to need the truth, and I wasn't going to be able to give it to her cleanly. I brought it up a few nights later, told her I was wrestling with it. She listened to all of it, got quiet, then said, she's not wrong though. You are her dad. That's not something you accidentally became. That's something you did every single day. I didn't have a response to that. I just nodded and looked away for a second. Things had been shifting between us for a while at that point. The kind of shifting that happened slowly and then all at once. We hadn't named it yet. We named it that night. Talked for a long time about what we were, what we'd been building. She said, I like this. I like our family. Not my family. Our family. Something about that broke something open in me. I told her I needed to grab formula. True, but I also needed a minute. I sat in that parking lot for almost half an hour. Couldn't stop crying. Not the kind that comes from something going wrong. The other kind. The kind that comes from finally letting yourself believe something good is actually yours. I thought about being 11 years old with nowhere to put all the hard stuff. None of this was planned. I showed up because I loved her, and I stayed because I couldn't leave. And somewhere in all of that, I became somebody's dad and somebody's partner and built a home without ever deciding to. I walked back through the door, and her daughter came running from the other room and grabbed my pointer finger with her whole little hand the way she always does. I'm not going anywhere.